He's the Ultimate Warrior.
Jeez, he was a chiropractor, and other than looking incredible, I'll never forget the first time I saw him. We went to Anaheim, L.A., and I see this kid backstage, and he had a slab of muscle on his lats, and I looked at him and I thought, is this guy real? And then I see eventually he came. Guy didn't know anything about wrestling. Vince loved him. Had no timing. He had $1 million body. He made $2 or $3 million bucks, and I felt sorry for him in a way because he was thrown into a predicament that nobody really liked him.
Right.
But he still benefited from it. And I can tell you a couple of quick ones. I remember one time we're in Florida, Fort Stewart, and I knew he was a chiropractor, and I said, Jim, I says, can you adjust my neck? And he didn't like to adjust necks, and he says, sure. So he feels where my neck is out, and he adjusts me so freaking hard, it felt like I had a lightning bolt go down my neck all the way into my toes, both sides, so I never asked him again.
Right.
So I got to tell you another story about him, and this is a rib that Kurt Hennig did. We're wrestling in L.A., and we're going to go to the China Club. This is a hot place out there, big movie stars. So we got a limousine, and there's Ray Traylor, Kurt, myself, Brian, and what's his name? Heltwig. So we had a couple drinks, and Kurt puts Halcyon in Heltwig's drink. And he didn't drink much, he had like 2 drinks, but he put like 2 or 3 Halcyon, and Voyer starts, going, just acting real strange. And they had they had Wayne Newton, and they had the guitar player, God dang, I'll think of his name now, hopefully. But it was a real eclectic deal at this China Club, and we left. So we're in the limousine, and Voyer could barely talk. He said, I don't know what happened, but and all of a sudden he starts puking. So they roll down the window, and they're holding his ass out the window while he's puking, and Ray Traylor and Kurt are laughing their ass off. And I thought, that was a bad rib. You shouldn't rib. I mean, when you mix, drugs
allergic reactions.
Yeah, drugs and alcohol are not good. And poor Helwig didn't even know the next day. He thought he just drank too much because he wasn't a drinker,
Memories of Andre?
Andre was something. I'll tell you a quick story about Andre. He was always good to me, and I remember he'd always come into the AWA, and he'd come in about November, fall, and he'd start the season off, and we'd have the big battle royal. So we did TV, and we had a little time off, and it was about 5 miles to my house, and I said, you want to come over to my house, and you can sit and relax, and then we'll go to the building. And he said, okay. So he comes to the house, and he walks up. My wife never met him. My wife's 5'1", and she opens the door, and he's standing on the below the pedestal, and he's looking eyeball to eyeball, and then he gives her a little hug, and he comes in to the house, and my daughter, who's 2 years old, sees him and runs into her room and scared. And our dog ran into our room. And so here Andre, and he said, your daughter's scared of me, Jim. And I said, well. And I just, you felt the human side of the story. You felt sorry for him because he couldn't go anywhere. Then there was another time in the AWA, we used to wrestle in Moline and Peoria. Well, we wrestled in Peoria, and then we were driving to Moline. So I'm driving a Cadillac. Andre was coming with me. We stopped at a beer place, and he says, I want to get a 12-pack. So he gets a 12-pack. He's sitting in the front seat, and I'm driving. I'm going too fast. All of a sudden, the cop pulls me over. We've only gone out of town 10 miles. So the cop says, you were speeding. I said, well, officer, we just wrestled in Peoria, and we're going back to Moline. We got to catch a flight in the morning, and I probably did go too fast. And he says to Andre, he says, what do you got in the bag? And Andre says, beer. And he says, what? And Andre says, beer. And the cop says, get out of the car. And Andre gets out of the car, and this cop had no idea he was Andre the Giant, and he backed up. So he grabs the bag and he opens up the 12-pack and there's 7 beers gone in 10 miles. And he said to me, he said, did you drink any of that beer? And I said, no, I had a Pepsi in my hand. And he said to Andre, he said, did you drink those 7 beers? And he said, yeah, in 10 miles he drank 7 beers.
It's crazy.
Yeah. So the cop says, well, he says, I'm going to put this beer in your trunk, and he said, I'm going to give you a speeding ticket, and you can go. So I'm getting in the car, and I think, oh, God, thank God he didn't get me for, driving with booze in the. So I'm driving, and we're going about 40 miles down the road, and Andre says, pull over. And I said, what for? He said, I want the rest of the beer.
That's awesome. Here's of Bobby the Brain.
The greatest. By far, and the funniest. He and I used to, Vern bought a plane, and it was called the 59919er, and we were all petrified. And it was a 7-passenger Navajo Chieftain, non-pressurized, so you'd fly at 6,000 to 8,000 feet, and you could never get above the weather. So, and Bobby and I sat in the back seat together, and Bobby always had a box of Franzia wine. So as soon as we got in the plane, he'd pour a big water glass full of wine, and we'd drink on the way to the mansions. And then on the way back, it was vodka or rum.
Right.
But he and I had just a great time, and I love him dearly, and he's been through just hell with this cancer and trying to reshape his jaw. And I'm going to go down to Florida in the end of October, see my mother-in-law, and I plan on seeing him. But he was the greatest. I mean, he not only was he the greatest manager, but when he got in the ring, it was like a night off because he gave everything the fans wanted to see every single night. He was incredible. Only an 8th grade education.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
And he was raised by his mom. He didn't really know his dad, and started when he was like 14 years old carrying, ring jackets for the Bruiser.
One of the best talents in the world.
Oh, without a doubt, the best manager by far.
I agree, 100%. What about your memories with Patterson and Stevens?
Oh, geez. Ray Stevens was so talented that it was just like flipping on a switch, and it was so easy. It was like working with a ghost in there. He was so light, but everything he did, his mannerisms, the way he sold, his timing was incredible. And Pat was good too, but Pat had to work a lot better, a lot harder than Ray. Ray was just a natural. Ray was incredible.
Did you ever wrestle a Harley Race or Larry Henning back then?
Yes. I wrestled Harley. Well, I didn't wrestle Harley until I got into the Mid-Atlantic. But Larry Henning used to beat the crap out of me all the time. And he helped me establish the fire that you need to get because I wanted to kill him because he used to kick the crap out of me. I mean, literally beat the snot out of you at night. And he was a big guy, But he was 6'3", 300 pounds. And I mean, he'd stiff as heck. He'd kick. I remember at night, after the matches, I'd see the eyelets of his boots across my chest and sternum for where he'd kick me. I told him one night, I said, Doc, after the match, I grabbed a chair and I said, if you would have walked through that door, you were going to get it. And he says, you're glad I didn't walk through that door? And I said, I probably am.
Did you get injured playing, I guess, a softball game or something when you were in AW at all?
Yes.
What happened there? Was Vern upset with that?
No, what happened was, and he was there too, it was a Jerry Lewis telethon softball game. It was the wrestlers against the media. And we were wearing shorts. It was a hot day, and I slid, and I got like a big strawberry on my calf. The outside, I didn't think anything of it. Well, after the game, it was so warm, we went over to Dick Annenson, who was a doctor and a lifelong friend of Vern's, his house for some cocktails, and we went swimming in his pool. Well, I got staph infection in my leg.
Wow. And
I got sicker than a dog, and my legs swelled up, and I couldn't wrestle for about 4 or 5 weeks. And I had to have intravenous, antibiotics for 2 or 3 days. And although Vern used that as a great ploy, because they switched the belts without beating us.
Right.
So. And then when we did come back, it made a lot of sense. But and Vern paid me too. Well, I was not exactly what I was making, but I was out for 4 or 5 weeks, and it worked good. But it was just a quirk deal.
Hulk Hogan, going back to the Hulkster, a lot of guys we've done interviews said when he got to the WWE or WWF back then that his personality changed. He got the big push, and he was pretty much all for himself.